The decision for a new Buffalo Convention Center is complicated.
Lose hundreds of events that could be here because of this facility.
Clearly, it's not functionally obsolete. Could it be better? Certainly.
The debate led to a $65,000 study and on Thursday, a presentation of 2 possible plans for a brand new convention center, with hopes of amping up Buffalo's convention industry.
This is one of the more important decisions this community is going to make in some time, because we are talking about a very large investment of over $250 million.
Plan 1 would extend off the current facility with a complete remodel that would take the new convention center across Mohawk Street and up to Huron. A large portion would border the Statler building.
To create a larger facility with a much larger exhibit space, but not perfect because it's not contiguous.
The second plan would be placed right across from KeyBank Center on the site of what is currently the HSBC parking lot. Both would bring in more than $480 million over 25 years, according to the county.
Both sites have potential and pros, and both sites have cons.
One con, according to Erie County legislator Joseph Larigo, return on investment. He's not convinced that spending $250 million on a new center would bring conventions from larger areas like New York and Las Vegas into the Queen City.
I don't know if building a new convention center is necessarily going to allow us to compete with that larger market.
Thursday's announcement of a possible new convention center made many wonder if it would impact potential plans for a new Bills Stadium downtown. According to the county executive, that's not something that was considered in the full report.
This would never preclude potentially building a new stadium in downtown Buffalo, but where we stand right now today, as someone who knows, because I'm the guy who's in the meetings, that there has been no discussion about building a new stadium.
Sorry, Bills fans, no news on the stadium. Over the next 90 days, County Executive Poloncarz said he will be looking for public input on the 2 projects to see if they're worth bringing to the attention of county legislators so they can vote. Live in the studio, Jeff Slauson, 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Also tonight, new developments and a crucial decision as the state attorney general opens an investigation into the death of India Cummings. Tonight, what this means for friends, family, and a community wanting answers about her time at the Erie County Holding Center.
7 Eyewitness News reporter Josh Bazan working this story from the newsroom tonight. Josh.
Hi, Jeff and Ashley. Yeah, many people who pressured the Attorney General to start this investigation are relieved it is finally here, hoping it will provide answers for India Cummings' family and lead to positive change at the Erie County Holding Center. Sheriff Timothy Howard oversees the holding center. A state report this summer blamed Cummings' death on, quote, medical neglect at the center after she was seriously injured during her arrest. That report recommended Cummings' death be ruled a homicide. Cummings was an inmate but was transferred to ECMC 16 days after her arrest, where she died. Erie County legislator April Baskin has been calling for an investigation into Cummings' death for months.
Well, I am ecstatic that today we found out that we've made progress in this investigation. It's never going to be too late to figure out the reasons why people unfortunately lose their lives at our holding center.
Cummings died in 2016. The Attorney General's investigation comes after reviewing evidence from the DA's office that left many questions unanswered. I have reached out to the Sheriff's office to ask them about this investigation. I'm still waiting to hear back. Live in the newsroom, Josh Bazan, 7 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Josh. All new at 5, Governor Cuomo's former right-hand man is heading to prison. Today, a federal judge sentenced Joseph Percoco to 6 years in prison for corruption. In March, Percoco was convicted for taking bribes from businessmen in 2 separate schemes. Percoco, a former top aide to Governor Cuomo.
Next tonight, the electric revolution. It's coming fast. Earlier this week, Audi took the wraps off its all-electric 2019 e-tron model, delivering on its promise to release a game-changing battery-powered SUV. And on the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus today, people got a chance to see all that electric vehicles have to offer. 8 electric vehicles were available for people to test drive. Several more were on display, allowing people to learn their ins and outs. The event, part of the Charge New York initiative.
You know, safe communities, healthy communities, and all these elements come together to create a sustainable environment, and then we can have a positive impact today for the future.
Transportation is one of the greatest contributions to carbon in our atmosphere.
Well, all summer long, 7 Eyewitness News has been on the road, celebrating communities throughout Western New York.
And tonight, 7 Eyewitness News anchor Hannah Bueller is live in Amherst, showing us what this North Towns community has to offer. Good evening, Hannah.
Good evening, Jeff and Ashley. Yes, we are on the road tonight in Amherst. We are celebrating everything that this town has to offer. And tonight we are at the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village. And I must say, For 200 years old, this place is looking pretty darn good. It is the bicentennial year for the town, and throughout this next hour, we're going to be celebrating the people, the places, the restaurants, the history, and even orchestras that makes the town of Amherst a great place to live, work, and play. And for history lovers, there's really no better place to be than the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village tonight. It's located at 3755 Tonawanda Creek Road in Amherst. And joining me now, Herb Schmidt. You are the executive director of this wonderful place.
I am, thank you.
I gotta tell you, I've learned so much since just being here for about an hour. I can't imagine what a day would be here.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you can literally spend a day here. 35 acres, 11 historic buildings, a museum complex with 10 major exhibitions. We house about 40,000 artifacts telling the story of Western New York and what it was like to be along the Erie Canal.
Wow, 3 things that people really should take away when they come here to the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Village.
Absolutely. 3 things. We're an educational campus. We want you to enjoy yourself and learn stuff, whether it's learning how to play folk instruments, learning how to quilt or weave, or experience a one-room schoolhouse. It's about history. This is about Amherst history, but also regional history. Why did Buffalo turn into the great city that it is today? Well, here we're learning about the suburbia experience, and the farmstead experience is the other part. Where does our food come from? What is that farm-to-table experience? And we're going to teach you that, you know, it does taste pretty good.
So tell me about the special event that's happening on Saturday here at the museum.
It's called the Grand Army of the Republic Encampment. It's the time period after the Civil War. So it's kind of a veterans reunion. All veterans, come on in, it's free. And then also we have a grant from the Sportsman's Foundation. We're partnering with them, Sportsman's Americana, to do workshops for folk musicians. So it's really going to be great. Go to the website, www.bnhv.org.
And we've got a lot of livestock here that we're going to show you in a little bit. There is a wood-burning stove, absolutely wonderful. We've got some apple turnovers, I think. I'm hoping. Anyways, we want to know what the weather's going to be like.
It's fantastic.
On Saturday. Well, tonight it is.
They've got such heavy garb on, and the sun was baking them. I do want to spin around over here, and is that Flynn or is that? I think it's Flynn. Look at this. You feeling like country now? It looks that way. And check it out. Lots of animals to see. There's our technology. We've got a little breeze out here in Amherst. 71 degrees as we take a look at it. And as you see it at home, we'll pop it up on the screen. 7 Super Doppler shows a couple of fading showers. It looks like Chautauqua County may catch a couple of those. We're going to check in on the rest of that 7-day forecast when we come back out here live to the Amherst Museum shortly.
Yeah, we are just getting started out here live. I have to say, Flynn was a little scared of me earlier, but he did let me pet him.
He's coming around, yeah.
I have that effect, Andy. Thank you. Coming up, it is routinely ranked one of the top companies to work for, and all new at 6, hiring 716 reporter Allie Toohey is taking us inside Wegmans and finding out what it takes to nab a job at the popular company. Meantime, make sure you check out some of our upcoming on-the-road stops. Next week, we're going to be in Niagara Falls, followed by some more communities throughout October. But for now, we're hoping those apple turnovers are cooking in the oven. We're going to send it back into you, Jeff and Ashley. We'll see you in a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Hannah and Andy. Did you notice how Flynn the cow was looking at them?
Well, he was giving Hannah the side eye, but I think he's still getting warmed up to her, as she mentioned.
We're off and running there tonight. We'll have more in just a little bit. Straight ahead here on 7 Eyewitness News at 5, how a parable is fueling one man's medical mission right here in Western New York.
Then a beautiful blast from the past back on display at the Buffalo Museum of Science.
Then all new coming up in just minutes at 5:30. We're working the development beat, getting key updates on 2 pivotal projects impacting anyone who lives, works, or visits the North Towns.
You're watching 7 Eyewitness News with Jeff Russo, Ashley Rowe, and 7 First Alert meteorologist Andy Carter.
We believe women. Protesters letting their voices be heard, several of them arrested as activists occupied the offices of key Republican senators in D.C. today. It all surrounds confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. And there is a new deadline for the woman accusing Kavanaugh of sexual assault. Senate GOP leaders say Christine Blasey Ford has until tomorrow to tell them if she is going to testify at a public hearing on Monday. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest now from Washington.
You're unlawfully demonstrating.
Protests against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh took over Capitol Hill.
We believe Dr. Blasey!
Demonstrators targeted the offices of Republican lawmakers on the Senate Judiciary Committee. GOP Senate leaders giving Kavanaugh's accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, until Friday morning to say if she will testify Monday.
We're not going to cancel any hearing until the last minute.
Blasey Ford's attorney says Monday is not possible, but she would be prepared to testify next week, and senators must offer terms that are fair and which ensure her safety. Blasey Ford has been demanding the FBI investigator claim Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her when they were in high school in the 80s. Her lawyer saying a hearing that has only 2 witnesses is not a fair or good faith investigation.
She is asking the FBI to investigate her claims. She is asking for that kind of review, that investigative work, that oversight, that accountability, because she's telling the truth.
Kavanaugh, who was spotted back at the White House Thursday, denies the allegation.
Don't mess with Dr. Christine Blasey Ford.
Alumni from Blasey Ford's private high school in Maryland delivered a letter of support signed by 1,000 women to lawmakers. Democratic senators are hoping the FBI's involvement will shed light on the alleged incident from nearly 40 years ago. President Trump and Republicans have rejected calls for the FBI to get involved. GOP Capitol staffers questioned Kavanaugh under oath about the allegation. They say they believe he was being truthful. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
Well, a new medical resource opening its doors in Buffalo's iconic Broadway Fillmore neighborhood. A ribbon cutting was held this morning for the new Jericho Road Community Health Center right next there to the Broadway Market. Inspired by the parable of the Good Samaritan, Jericho Road has grown over the past 21 years to employ more than 300 people while serving more than 70,000 medical visits a year.
We are here because this is a place where we feel God has called us to love our neighbor. And we want to be a part of seeing this community thrive.
This is now Jericho Road's 3rd health center here in the Queen City. Well, just like Buffalo's housing market, rental properties very hot in the Queen City right now.
That's right. Check out these latest numbers from rentcafe.com. The average rent for an apartment in Buffalo is just over $1,100 a month. That's a 5% increase compared to the previous year.
But tonight, our Making Ends Meet reporter, Ed Riley, has important tips to help you maneuver the rental market to get the most bang for your buck.
I had to apply to a lot of places before I finally got an apartment. It took me about 2 months to finally find a place.
Thanks to Buffalo's redevelopment and expansion of the medical campus, there is a big demand for downtown apartments. But more people wanting to move into the city means more competition.
Yeah, everybody in like the millennials age group basically has to have a roommate or has to find a place that's really, really cheap just to afford it.
We're really starting to see an influx of people coming downtown.
Lynn Gannon is director of residential leasing for Ellicott Development, a company that owns 65 buildings with 650 units. But even that number is not enough to meet demand.
Oh, we're constantly adding. If you look out the window, you'll see that we're building the Cooperage. That one is going to have 12 units.
Lynn showed us one of the company's newest apartment buildings at 301 Ohio Street.
We're seeing a lot of empty nesters coming in from the suburbs. A lot of young professionals.
But some people are making big mistakes that hurt their chances to get a downtown apartment.
Apartment hunters a lot of times are not prepared.
Often apartment seekers fail to honestly look at what they can afford, which should be about 30% of your income.
We just don't want you to exceed your spending limit.
Forgetting about security deposits is another problem.
At least try to have your finances in order.
Don't forget to include renter's insurance, which is about $11 a month. And your credit score is a big factor in what you can get.
Just as a bank would need to make sure you can pay your mortgage, we need to make sure that you can pay the rent.
Research neighborhoods, crime reports, and don't forget transportation issues if you do not have a car.
We won't hold apartments without a completed application and all of your paperwork in place.
Unfortunately, time is not your friend because apartments like this one are filling up quickly. So if you don't have your finances and references ready to go, someone else will. In Buffalo, Ed Riley, 7 Eyewitness News.
Check this out, a blast from the past back on display at the Buffalo Museum of Science. The museum's famed sand mandala was recently reinstalled in its Artifact Science Studio. The mandala was created at the museum in 1991 by monks from India. Traditionally, mandalas are destroyed upon completion to signify that there is nothing permanent in this world. But because this mandala is technically unfinished, it was allowed to remain at the museum. And this Saturday, you can check out the Buffalo Museum of Science and many more for free. It's all part of the Smithsonian Magazine's Museum Day. You'll find a full list of participating museums right now on WKBW.com. Just click on the story.
Such a cool place. And all this summer, 7 Eyewitness News has been on the road exploring cool places, right? Exploring what makes Western New York unique.
Tonight, we are live in the town of Amherst at the Buffalo Niagara Heritage Museum and Village, where 7 First Alert meteorologist Andy Parker is keeping an eye on the sky.
Yeah, this has been a fun one as we're out here. We've got nice weather for it, and behind me we introduced you to Jack and Flynn, and this is Joe right here, one of the sheep, the lawnmower back in the day. This is what you used. Just had a whole field of these guys, and they took care of everything for you, and all you had to do is shave them once in a while. Over here, this is the homestead, one of the new features recently built. That's the working barn and the chicken coop, and you can see a lot of different animals here. Great place to bring the kids. Don't just take them down to the local park. Bring them up here. Let them learn something, interact with the animals, have some fun. Well, the breeze that we had momentarily ago, that's gone. That's left the building. It is rather calm. 71 degrees, but it's very comfortable, and we don't have a lot of humidity. But all of this is about to change, folks. Let's go to Skywatch 7 back in downtown Buffalo. I'm going to give you the upstairs view. We're 71 out in Cheektowaga is downtown as well. Sunset tonight will be a cloudy one at 7:16. Let's go ahead and hit the temperatures around the region. We'll show you that it is a little bit warmer down to the south than to the north, but only by a few degrees. We have a little bit of activity over Lake Erie. That 80 by Erie is indicative of what is to come. Our friends in Chautauqua County, you're going to catch a little bit of shower activity, I would expect, by Mayville, Dunkirk, Brockton. You may have to endure at least a shower for a brief time. Areas to the north, nothing more than a sprinkle. Let's move on down the road and show you what's coming our way tonight. Cloudy skies. It'll be a mild one. We are not dropping too far south of 70. Cloudy and warm. Now let's talk about tomorrow. You've probably heard about Friday. If you haven't, here it comes, up to 85 hot and humid degrees with a blowtorch of a wind. It's going to come out of the south at 20 to 25 miles an hour, and then those thunderstorms could drag some 50-mile-an-hour gusts out of the sky, and that's good enough to break some branches, tip some cans, and turn over those trampolines. So if you have been leaving stuff around the backyard, get ready, because they're going to want to tie it down and get it ready for tomorrow. When does it all come in, and how does it all happen? And the rain does not start in the morning. Here come the 80s. We start the morning in the mid-70s, and it comes right on in. By lunchtime, we are solidly at 80 degrees with that gusty wind, but it's dry. Those 50-mile-per-hour gusts, you can expect to see them about this time tomorrow, and it's a thin line of thunderstorms that come racing across the region, and as it does, boy, is that really going to change the temperature from the 80s to the 60s in a matter of hours, and by the time we get to the weekend, that's exactly where we're going to be. Speaking of the weekend, let me show you the 7-day, folks, from the 80s to the 60s, and Saturday we have a cloudy, cool day. Some sun on Sunday. That'll be a nice fall afternoon, and it looks like we get back to the 70s early next week. Hey, after one day of voting, let's go ahead and take a look and show you that we do have North Tonawanda Intermediate, not far from where we are right now. Maryvale right behind. Clymer climbing their way to third place. Forestville and Court Street in there as well. The weather word that we gave out this morning, well, it was a summer-like day today, so why not use it? That's the word you can use to vote tonight. We will give you a brand new weather word on Friday. We've got some great apples here. We're going to introduce you to the rest of everything we have to offer up here in Amherst. Right now, back downtown to you guys.
All right, thank you, Andy. Bring us back one or two or a bag.
More the merrier,
More
really.
The merrier. I still ahead here on 7 Eyewitness News at 5 from Germany to Niagara Falls Boulevard. Our main man, Mike Randall, taking us on a taste and see tour to Black Forest Adler.
Then all new at 5:30, Sugar Shock. You won't believe how much is in your kid's favorite snack. Fancy some schnitzel with noodles? Or how about a perfect pairing with a classic German beer?
Sounds fantastic. Well, tonight our On the Road team is sampling the sights, sounds, and tastes of Amherst, and our main man, Mike Randall, getting his fill at Black Forest Adler.
Gerhard Braun grew up in Germany's Black Forest. It sounds dark and scary.
But it's not dark and scary. Then it's bright and fun.
Bright and fun also describes the restaurant that Gerhard put together with his business partner, Laura.
Even though we haven't done a lot of advertising, word of mouth has really spread.
The Black Forest Adler was Gerhard and Laura's dream. The dream came true about 7 years ago.
Our goal is bringing a part of my country to the States, to Buffalo.
To make that happen, everything that comes out of this kitchen is homemade. Gerhard spent 6 hours making this tray of multasha.
We grind the meat, we grind the bacon, we grind the onions.
No cutting corners here. Gerhard says multasha is a very popular dish, kind of like a German ravioli.
That's just as good as Gerhard said it would be.
Back in the kitchen, that's Sven keeping things cooking. He's from Berlin.
We are the perfect combination of East and West. That's right. Yeah.
Nice.
You know, so we put our crazy ideas on the plate.
Laura says people have a misconception about German food, that it's all the same.
And it's not. It's different no matter, depending on where you're from in Germany.
Make sure you save room for dessert, maybe a piece of Black Forest cake, decorated to represent the traditional costume of the Black Forest.
The cherries are supposed to represent the little red balls on the hat.
The Black Forest Adler, a bright, fun German experience right here in Amherst. Mike Randall, 7 Eyewitness News.
Man, oh man, that looks good, doesn't it?
Yes.
If you wanted to know where that is, it's at 2447 Niagara Falls Boulevard. And Mike just touching, I think, on some of the fantastic food.
Yeah, yesterday he had me totally distracted. I was about to go live on television, and there he is eating that meal that you saw him eating there. He brought some back to the station. It smelled amazing. It looked amazing. I can't wait to go try it.
You too.
Only Aaron Minkowski eats more food than Mike Randall.
That's true.
True.
Still to come here on 7 Eyewitness News tonight. Get those resumes ready because Amazon is hanging out the Help Wanted sign right here in Western New York. But first, House of Horrors. Tonight, a tenant desperate for answers, claiming his landlord is MIA.
And it was after 10 minutes he was sneezing and coughing. That's how bad this.
All new tonight on 7 Eyewitness News at 5:30. A troubled tenant, a missing landlord, and a home that one man claims is making him sick. Plus, a prominent surgeon accused of rape, and investigators fear there may be hundreds of victims. And then it's an ancient technique with a modern twist. Tonight we're channeling the healing powers of salt.
Now with 7 First Alert weather. This is 7 Eyewitness News at 5:30.
Crumbling ceilings, creeping cockroaches, seeping mold, and a landlord who is nowhere to be found. Good evening once again. A viewer coming to 7 Eyewitness News with all of these complaints and desperate for some answers and some help. 7 Eyewitness News reporter Sean Robson working the story, all new at 5:30 tonight.
59-year-old Martin Batherson was living on the streets a year ago.
And I want out of here because my health is going to be deteriorating worse.
He found this place in February at the corner of Main and East Morris in Buffalo, where he shares an apartment with mold, roaches, and flies.
This is all mold in the back here. As you can see over here, that's part of where the mold problem was. The maintenance man put this up Monday to cover it up.
The federal government pays 2/3 of Batherson's rent. He says Urban Housing and Development's timetable for a solution is too far in the future, and he says his landlord ignores his phone calls. Martin tells me he believes that over half of the tenants in this apartment building are living with mental health issues. He says that the landlord is taking advantage of them. Batherson takes medication for his depression, high blood pressure, and lung disease. The building's maintenance man stopped by this week to treat the mold.
After 10 minutes, he was sneezing and coughing. That's how bad this is.
He said he wouldn't stay here either. Now that came out of his mouth. And he works with a landlord.
Sabrina Donovan recently stayed in a motel with Batherson just to get him out of the filth.
I ain't never seen nothing like it. You see stuff on TV. I personally haven't seen anything like this in my entire life.
I too called the landlord. He didn't answer me either.
You don't care about me as far as I'm concerned.
Batherson says he now has legal aid on the case and is hoping for a quick solution.
There's still mold all over here that I have to breathe.
In Buffalo, Sean Robson, 7 Eyewitness News.
Hiring 716, the 7 Eyewitness News initiative aimed at highlighting the struggles, successes, and opportunities all happening in the local job market. And tonight, Amazon is putting out the Help Wanted sign. 2 upcoming hiring events are being held at the Fairfield Inn on Genesee Street in Cheektowaga. There's one going on right now. It's going to wrap up at 7 o'clock. And then the second is set for September 25th from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. Amazon is looking for workers at its warehouse in Lancaster. To apply for a position, just head to our website, WKBW.com, and click on this story. And some good news on the job front statewide tonight. In the month of August, New York's private sector added almost 9,000 new jobs, according to the governor's office. The statewide unemployment rate dropped again, 0.1% for last month. And make sure you check out the hiring initiatives. It's 716, 716 section at WKBW.com. Now, go to this new website that we have. I'll have the address again in a moment. You'll find the latest job postings, a look at some of the area's top employers, and how you can really write up a good resume and do a good interview. All kinds of tips and info for you. Again, here's the address. It's hiring 716 at WKBW.com. Developing tonight, disturbing developments now involving a California doctor and his girlfriend accused of being serial rapists. More than 6 women have now come forward claiming this couple drugged and then sexually assaulted them. ABC's Natalie Brunell is in Los Angeles tonight with more.
More women stepping forward accusing a Newport Beach surgeon and his girlfriend of sexual assault.
You seem too perfect. What's wrong with you?
Authorities already identifying more than half a dozen alleged victims, claiming they were preyed on by Dr. Grant Robichaux and his girlfriend Sarissa Riley. One woman describing the couple as a Bonnie and Clyde team who drugged and forced her into sexual acts.
It was their MO that they would send her out first to meet the women?
That's what we've seen, yes.
38-year-old Robichaux was once named Orange County's Bachelor of the Year and appeared on a Bravo reality show about online dating.
Orthopedic surgeon will make a lot of girls' ears light up, and those are the girls I'm really not interested in.
But this woman, Lauren Hayden, says she met Robichaux off the dating app Tinder last year and broke down seeing his face on the news.
And I just started screaming. I just started sobbing.
Hayden recalling the red flags before she escaped their encounter.
I was in the pool with him, or jacuzzi, and he started trying to tear my top off. When I was saying no, it was like he wasn't even hearing me.
The pair were charged this week with sexual assault against 2 women and 1 count of rape. But authorities are concerned they may have widespread victims after finding more than 1,000 videos of women the couple allegedly recorded in many cities. The couple is out on bail and set to be arraigned in October. Lawyers for the pair say they unequivocally deny all allegations of non-consensual sex. Natalie Brunell, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Primed and all ready in the town of Amherst.
And you can't just have a property like that sit vacant.
Coming up tonight, our development reporter Jeff Slauson getting some key updates on 2 major projects taking shape now in the North Towns. Also, more sugar than soda. You think you're reaching for a healthy option, but do you know how much sugar is actually in your kid's favorite yogurt? Also tonight, we're on the road in Amherst exploring an ancient art at the Aura Salt Caves and Wellness Center.
The demand for housing in downtown Buffalo is exploding thanks to the city's redevelopment. But many people are making some key mistakes when they go apartment hunting. I'm Ed Riley, and tonight some advice to help you make ends meet while looking for a place to live.
On the business beat, here's what happened on Wall Street in New York today. 3rd day in a row up for stocks. The Dow gained 251 points today. The Nasdaq up by 78, and the S&P 500 gained just 1 point. Don't go away. You're watching 7 Eyewitness News.
You're watching 7 Eyewitness News with Keith Radford and 7 First Alert meteorologist Autumn Lewandowski.
A big arrival is soon on the way. The Buffalo Zoo announcing today its rhinoceros, Tashi, is pregnant. And the news comes just in time for World Rhino Day, which happens to be this coming Saturday. The zoo will be hosting all kinds of rhino-themed activities on that day. It is an ancient approach to relaxation and healing. Tonight, we're on the road celebrating what makes the town of Amherst unique. As 7 Eyewitness News reporter Tweelan Nugent explores the Aura Salt Caves and Wellness Center.
Slip on some shoe covers and step into Zen.